Good morning, all you beings of light. Welcome to October. We're so happy to have you with us at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm going to start out our service today with some announcements. First, I want to let you know that right after service, we get together and it's called Let's Stay Connected. So that's right after service on our Zoom channel. So just stay where you are if you're in Zoom. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, just jump on over to our Zoom channel and you can find the information in our weekly bulletin for the connection, conference number, and password. I have a couple of announcements about our upcoming courses. The first is today is the last day to sign up for Foundations class. The foundational class is a 10-week entry-level class for the study of the science of mind. It's a personal exploration of the 10 core concepts of science of mind philosophy, faith, and way of life, and applying them to the process of your daily living. Discover and express the power, creativity, freedom, abundance, and joy that lie within each of you. This class runs 10 consecutive Tuesday evenings beginning Tuesday, October 6th from 6:45 to 9:30. It also includes one prayer workshop held on Friday evening, November 6th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and the following Saturday afternoon on November 7th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Please note that these dates have been pushed back 2 weeks to allow for more registration, so you've got more time to sign up today. The class is facilitated by Reverend Dusty. The cost is $245, and there are payment plans available. Now, the Prosperity 2 class has been postponed until the new year. Be on the lookout for announcements at the end of the year. Now, a new survey will be sent out today that we would love for all of you to complete. We want to hear what you are currently thinking about reconvening. It will be from info@trianglecsl.org. Now, please look for that in your inbox, and don't forget to check those spam folders because it may end up there as well. If you can't find it, please reach out to Reverend Dusty or to Heather Abbott. And thank you so much ahead of time for filling out that survey. It means so much to the community. So at this time, I would like to invite up Heather Abbott.
Good morning. Our theme for 2020 is 2020 Spiritual Vision. Our October theme is Cosmic Connection. Reverend Marie's talk title today is Just Like Me. Now I would like to read our community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now I invite you to turn within, close your outer eyes, and allow the healing sounds of these crystal bowls to wash over you.
invite you to begin to bring your attention back into your bodies and into your rooms, and stay turned within as I bless this day, this service, this community, all of those volunteers that are here in this room that are assisting to bring forward this service, and every sentient being on the planet. It is so easy for me to do that as I sit in the stillness, as I remember that which is back of all of it, the power and presence of the divine. As I recognize our deep and abiding connection to each other, to the planet, to life, and to God itself, connected by this golden thread of God stuff that weaves itself throughout all of life. I know that we are connected in ways that can never be broken, that there is a unity that exists, that is our very essence. And it is from that place that I bless our time together, calling it good and very, very good, even as it is just beginning. I bless everyone here in the sanctuary for their generosity, for the giving of their time and their talent, for the depth of their consciousness and the love that they have for this community, for their gift of music or their dedication. I bless everyone that is listening now on Facebook Live or on Zoom. This community exists because of each and every single person that is participating today. Every single person that is connected to this community in some way or another, whether that is really deeply on a weekly basis or whether they pop in from time to time. It is a community that sustains us, that feeds us, one that is filled with love and joy. And so I know that this service flows with grace and with ease because of that love, because of that joy, because of that depth of consciousness, that everything that needs to be said is said and everything that needs to be heard is heard, and that everyone walks away from their experience this morning a little deeper aware of their connection, a little more grounded in their divinity, and a little more open to all that the world has to offer. And so for all of the blessings, those that I'm aware of and those I can't even begin to imagine, I am grateful. We anchor this simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. It is now my pleasure to welcome back to the podium licensed spiritual practitioner and ministerial school student, Jim Rigsby.
Thank you so much, Reverend Dusty. Now is the time for the blessing of all faiths, and I'm going to have Heather Abbott join me. Here we believe there is one God and many paths. So the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, Heather. Today's reading is taken from the song Rise by Faith Rivera. I close my eyes, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, the healing start. Let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat. That's calling, calling, calling us to rise, rise. Spirit, rise up, rise in me. So if you just take that into your heart and turn within, I'd like to speak a blessing on Reverend Marie and Sandy Hemingway, knowing that there is this one power and presence that I call Spirit. It is love, it is creative, and it created me. And as it created me, it created each sentient being. All of us are joined up in this one life of Spirit. And so from that place of unity, I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Marie today, knowing that she is inspired and that she inspires us with her word. And I bless Sandy Hemingway as he comes forward with his gift of song, knowing that we are blessed to hear those words and to hear the music that lights our heart ablaze. So I give great thanks for each of these individuals and their contribution to our service today, knowing that it is perfect, and I'm so grateful, and so it is. So I'd like to introduce Sandy Hemingway. Thank you, Sandy.
Good morning, everyone. This is a song written by Daniel Namod, and I thought it was appropriate for this message because the title is Just Like Me. You've had to be strong for so long, you don't remember who you are. But when I see you, I see myself too. I know the child hidden in your heart. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. I know the ones who most hurt you are those you trusted most of all. but to forgive them is to live again and heal the heart of the child so small. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. We cry for a safe place, a quiet space to be, where a soul shows its true face, where love flies free. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. I understand. You're just like me. Thank you.
An amazingly song, beautifully sung by Sandy. Thank you so very much. It was awesome. We are indeed blessed today. We are in for a really wonderful experience because Reverend Marie Kirkland is in the house. Reverend Marie is the founder and spiritual director of the Living Aligned Virtual Ministry. Her community brings people together to experience the power of alignment through practical spirituality, inviting each person to live intentionally, deepen relationships, and live aligned and forward while doing their meaningful work in the world. Through her practice of living with an open heart, she inspires sacred conversations that lead to self-discovery, facilitate classes that evoke curiosity, and empowers individuals to navigate life's intersections in alignment. As the host of the podcast Living Aligned, Living Forward, Reverend Marie interviews spiritual leaders who share stories, practices, and lessons that have propelled them forward. Reverend Marie's sacred service extends outside of her virtual community, where she currently serves on several Centers for Spiritual Living communities. Please welcome my friend and colleague, Reverend Marie Kirkland.
Good morning. Good morning. It is so good to be here with Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. When I say it is so good, you have no idea how good it is to be home. And so the concept of being home and the concept of home means different things to different people. So let me just join me for a moment while I take you back 18 years and 2 weeks ago to September 22nd, 2002. I walked into the Center for Conscious Living, which is now the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, with my two, at that time, young children, now young adults. And we came in, we drove in from Fayetteville following the MapQuest map. Remember those that we print out? And I was on a journey. I was on a spiritual journey. I was on a quest. And so while I had always been on a spiritual journey, it was Triangle where my official journey began and where I came home to myself, rediscovered my purpose. And it is also where I answered my call to ministry. And so I want to share that as just like you and you, just like me, my spiritual journey, it came from a place where I was searching. It came from a place where I was, for like maybe the previous year, really searching and trying to find. And I found myself in that place of what's next, of that place of transition. And when I came there, I just had the wonderful opportunity to be with and to meet some absolutely wonderful people who have been with me on my journey ever since. And so one of the people who absolutely welcomed me was Jim, right? And so Jim today, he shared the meditation, and it just took me back to when I met him all those years ago, and when he shared not only with me, but he taught my son in the youth classes. And so my journey just continued, and I'll share with you, throughout my talk, my journey with different members from the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And so a nice man shares, life shrinks and expands in proportion to one's courage. There is nothing more courageous than living a spiritual life. And just like me, we are all on a spiritual journey. The title of my talk today is Just Like Me. And the subtitle could very well be, We Are All on a Journey Home. And so it doesn't matter who we are and where we're going and where we are on our journey, we are infinitely connected. We're connected with ourselves, with spirit, and with one another. And sometimes, just sometimes, living a spiritual life, it invites us to explore some questions we ask ourselves, and questions that maybe other people ask of us. And the reason for these questions are being spiritual. What does that mean? Living a spiritual life, what does that mean? Especially now, even now, as we are in the intersection of so many things. And so these examples of these questions, it may look like, well, you're spiritual. Why would you be concerned with what's going on in the world right now? Or you're spiritual and you're experiencing maybe questions in your own life. Why is that? And so being spiritual, it means different things. And what I want to share is that as we're on this journey and as we're going through these intersections, knowing that we are each a reflection of our infinite self, of the infinite self, we can always move towards that understanding that everyone around us is a reflection of ourselves, and that just like me, everyone is doing the best we can and wherever we are, and right now where we are. And just think for a moment in that space of where we are in the world, and the space of where we are in our own consciousness, we can always find compassion for ourselves. And in doing that, in being the best that we can be, in loving ourselves, and embracing that self-compassion, we're able to transfer that to everyone around us and into every occurrence and situation that occurs. And now, as we become deeper and kinder with ourselves, and even more honest with the understanding of ourselves and what's going on, right? Then we can tap into, be attuned with that part of ourself that is pure spirit, right? And stay in alignment, right? And navigate that alignment as we connect with others and recognize that oneness that is normal with everyday occurrences, even now. And so that power, this power of alignment, it resides in every leg of our journey. It even resides in those intersections. And I call those intersections that place where we get to just simply allow ourselves to be. And sometimes that intersection could be principle before us and paradox behind us, doubt to the right and truth to the left, right? And so that can be in that space where we may be right now with what's going on. However, it is in that very moment that when we are willing to stand in that space and in that sacred yes of knowing who we are, that we can take that first step into practicing living and who we are. And so now let me be clear. When I speak about the word power, I am speaking about that power that makes all things possible. That power that works through us and as us in every single moment. And so let's talk about the intersections a little bit while I take a sip. Let's talk about the intersections a little bit. Right now, there are several intersections going on. And the Science of Mind textbook tells us that what we outwardly are and what we become depends upon what we are thinking. For this is the way that we use the creative power. And so we get the opportunity to connect with ourselves and tune in with the best of ourselves. Now, this may look like different things at different times, right? This may look like waking up and saying, you know what? I need to connect, to tune in before I tune into anything else, before I tune into the world and do my work and do my spiritual practice so that whatever I meet in the world today, whatever intersection I come upon, whatever leg of the journey that I'm on, I can reflect who I am being at that time, who the beingness that I am having at that very moment. And so, how do we practice that? How do we practice being ourselves when we wake up and we know that principle is before us, but then two things may be possible at the same time? We simply pause and take that time to begin our day, to do our work. And that may look like different things to different people. That may look like even before our feet hits the ground, when we, in that moment of our awareness, of remembering that we are alive, to remember that we are one with the one as the one. That may look like doing our journaling. That may look like affirmative prayer, meditation, simply remembering who we are to rise up and to be and to have that deeper connection. And as Sandy sung this morning, to remember that we are human, you know? What an opportunity it is to be able to remember we are human and to use our creative power. And as we do that, to connect with ourselves. And so as we recognize that, we may ask some questions. Am I being my very best in this moment? And am I being my very best today? Am I reflecting who I truly am in this moment? Am I reflecting that? Because as we reflect this, we are reflecting spirit as us. And what needs to change, right? What is it that I must maybe shift and change as I connect with myself? What is it that I need to shift and change? So there are so many different instances in our everyday life that we can each go back to, that we can look at a story and what is it that I need to shift and change? And or as I'm connecting with myself, who should I reach out to? Who should I connect with? And so there are several stories, and as I share how I connect with myself. So last year, as I was stepping into my stepping into my new ministry, I had the opportunity to have a installation, what is called the installation. And my inner self, my conversation with myself is, well, Reverend Marie, you have a virtual ministry. And to have something like an installation now, why would I do that? And it's virtual, you know? And so my thought at that time, right, my conversation to myself was, well, how would that happen? And who would support this and very important step in my ministry? And so understanding that maybe a deeper conversation needed to be had. What it is that I did is I reflect and I remember who I truly am. And then I reached out, and then I came home by way of conversations with my spiritual home, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. You see, because every major step in my spiritual life has all come through or have been supported by the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and Reverend Dusty. And so on that occasion, just like other occasions, and supporting the teaching chapter that I ran, and in supporting my spiritual growth, the ministerial school, and in the graduation, I reached out and was loved and supported. And so on that special day, April 12th, last year, as most people on their 62nd birthday are thinking about retiring, I was surrounded by love from my spiritual home here in Fayetteville to take that next step. And so by simply asking those questions, are you being your best? How am I reflecting who I truly am? Enabled me to take another step and to see what needed to be changed. And therefore, I was able to live a line in that moment and to move forward. So sometimes connecting with ourselves and asking those questions will allow us to experience our quest in a different way. Our quest is determined by the questions we ask ourselves. And so as we connect with ourselves, we know that the Science Mind textbook also shares that the relationship between the individual and the universal mind is one of reflection. What we image for ourselves, spirit images for us. And so our connection with spirit, which I've just spoke about a little bit, staying in tune with spirit is so very important. And so we realize that on our normal day, as we go about our normal day, whether we are connecting with people through Zoom, we're connecting with people on by the telephone, however we are connecting, that we are connecting with spirit within us, with our inner self, and it reflects on everything we do. And even as we go about and we go outside and we're wearing our masks and we're connecting with our eyes with people that we come upon, right? We connect one to one and we let go of whatever story that we've been telling ourselves, because we realize that we are released into spirit and now we can truly be present no matter what. Right? We can be present. And so this reflection is going to reflect our world because, yes, we are in that intersection that we are at peace and we have that uncertainty. We are at peace, and yet there may be some fear. And so as we go around the world around us, as we remember that we are that reflection of spirit, sometimes it requires and it asks us to, again, take that inner retreat, right? And that can look like, even as we are going about our day and we are connecting and remembering and being still, to take that moment before we leave the house or before we leave our car to go out into the world, right? And to remember and have that space so we can truly be who we are. And as I shared earlier, our connections with one another is so very important, especially now, especially now. And I pause to think of all of those who are in our lives and all of those who may be family members and who are experiencing this experience of COVID right now, this pandemic. And those that we think about, and I don't know whether this may be true for you, but there are times when I think about people, oh, I wonder how this person is doing, or I wonder how this person is doing. Now, when I think about other people, and I am invited now, as I know you are, is to reach out and just pick up the phone or to say hi or send a text message, but to simply be connected with someone and ask, how is their day going? And to have that conversation that evokes curiosity about the experience that they are having and the experience that we are having together. Because there is one thing that is true, is that I am because we are, each of us are here together. And that is the way of Ubuntu, and that is an African philosophy. And so in this connection, is so important now and always, because we have no idea how the simple act of simply reaching out to someone, what it means, how the simple act of asking someone how their day is and what's going on with them, how that can create such a huge shift in a person's life. And so now, instead of us simply just going out in the world and going about our business, now we can connect with one another and smile with our eyes and have that new beginning and that new connection with someone and share that compassion with this common experience that we are each having right now. And so we simply take a breath and know that just by being compassionate, right, and interested in someone, that is the deepest experience that we can have. That is the deepest expression of God's love with another human being. And recognizing that human capacity for all. And so one of the intersections that we do come upon, another intersection, is the value of our human life, is being seen and unseen, heard and unheard. And so as we come upon all of our concerns, the invitation is to simply recognize that each human has value, each of us. And so the call is to recognize who we are within ourselves, recognize that spirit is expressed in us and as us, and recognize that within each other, we all have this same connection. And so it is the movement of the divine within us, around us and between us, that we are experiencing today. It is in creating this connection with each other that also creates this deeper connection with spirit that allows us to have this common and this cosmic connection within ourselves. And so I invite us to simply ask the question, and so what is next? What allows us to be more of ourselves? What allows us to create a more genuine connection with ourselves? And so at this moment, I invite us, let's make a commitment to get connected, to stay connected, to simply love, to be compassionate with ourselves, and to move forward knowing that just like me, we are each on a spiritual journey. Just like me, we can each come home to ourselves, to our spiritual home, and to the God within us. And so that is my invitation today. And so I invite you to go in with me. As we simply breathe in, knowing that God is all there is and expressed as each and every one of us. And that in this moment, as we recognize that home is the expression of love, as faith, as compassion, as truth, we simply embrace it. We simply know that it is already so, and we move forward in this day, in each day, and in every day, knowing that we are that divine expression. We simply allow it to be. We know it is so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so very much, Reverend Marie. This has been your home for a long time. It is now, and it will be forever and ever. You are always welcome to come back home and join with us and worship with us and grow with us anytime you're in the neighborhood, anytime you want to. Thank you so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving, and so I just invite everyone to take a moment to reflect on how abundant we truly are, and to know that as we are grateful for that abundance, that we actually create more to be grateful about, that gratitude is generative and it draws more abundance into our lives. And that as we are willing to share of some of that abundance, we powerfully step into the flow of life, that giving and receiving are one and the same. We can't have one without the other. And so as we are willing to give, we add to the energy of sufficiency on the planet, allowing everyone to know that truly we do live in an abundant universe, that we are all connected to that, as Reverend Marie spoke about, and that we can tap into that abundance any time we get quiet, any time we align ourselves, any time we remember who we truly are. I'm grateful for these gifts, however big or small, knowing that they assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love and warmth in the Greater Triangle area. Allow us to continue to do the work that we are doing in the world and actually prosper the ones that are giving. Please repeat after me. I am grateful for all that I receive, and I am grateful for all that I may give. And so it is. In this moment, please welcome the amazing Sandy Hemingway.
So I'm going to the introduction to this song is a little complex. I would like everyone who's listening this to look at their hands, just the front and the back of their hands, and I want you to say with me, "These hands have power." And the reason I wanted to do that is we all have hands, and nearly everything we do in a human life is related to our hands. Hands have the power to fix a meal, or fix a child's toy, or write words on a page that inspire others. And we all have these hands that can do incredible things, and we don't realize it all the time. A couple of weeks ago, I had written a chorus to a song, and I sent it to a friend of mine, Elaine Penn, and she had some verses to a song that didn't have a chorus, and we put them together and created this new song. It's the first collaboration by Sandy Hemingway and Elaine Penn, and it's called These Hands. It's time for us to use our words and hands and feet to be a voice of truth and help a world in need. It's time to see the worth in every single life and heal the earth. It's time to shine our light. These hands have power beyond belief. These hands have power to achieve. When these hands touch somebody, waves begin to roll. Ripples run like rays of sun. No one knows just where they'll go. Yes, they can change the world. These hands. So raise your flag up high until the world is free. Nail your colors bright to a wall of peace. Light a blazing fire, play an old peace song. Now's the time to stand together strong. These hands have power beyond belief. These hands have power to achieve. When these hands touch somebody, waves begin to roll. Ripples run like rays of sun. No one knows just where they'll go. Yes, they can change the world. These hands. Let's build a table made of grace where we all can have a place. These hands have power beyond belief. These hands have power to achieve. When these hands touch somebody, waves begin to roll. Ripples run like rays of sun. No one knows just where they'll go. change the world, these hands. These hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. What a beautiful song. What a beautiful creation. So I'd like to share with you our September financial update. Our September total revenue was $13,741. Our September expenditures were $16,677. So that makes our September net revenue negative $2,936. We know abundance here at the center. We continue to know that, and we thank you for your support of your community. Thank you so much. You know, one of our heart's desires as practitioners and ministers is to pray. And I even have a t-shirt that says, "Make my day, ask me to pray." And so if you would like prayer, simply go to trianglecsl.org, and up in the corner is a prayer request button. Just click on that and fill out the form, and we'll get that. And we'll distribute that to the ministers and practitioners, and we'll pray for you during the week. Prayer is very, very powerful, and I invite you to use that button on our website. So, this is October. It's time for our October affirmation for the very first time. If you feel like it, you can stand up in the comfort of your own home. This is a call and response, so please repeat after me. I recognize that we are all connected to each other by a power greater than we are.
I recognize that we are all connected to each other by a power greater than we are.
The connection that is happening everywhere is the same connection.
The connection that is happening everywhere is the same connection.
It's the movement of the divine within us, around us, and between us.
It is the movement of the divine within us, around us, and between us.
I believe in the unity of all life and celebrate this deep and abiding connection.
I believe in the unity of all life and celebrate this deep and abiding connection.
To experience love and compassion is to experience our connection to God.
To experience love and compassion is to experience our connection to God.
Today, I reflect all of God's love and compassion outwardly.
Today, I reflect all of God's love and compassion outwardly.
As I do so, each person I meet has the same experience through me.
As I do so, each person I meet has the same experience through me.
We are whole, we are loved, we are healed.
We are whole, we are loved, we are healed.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So I invite you to stay for our closing video. Please turn within for one more time as I say a word of benediction. So I'm just full. My heart is so full of gratitude. I'm so grateful for this one power and presence that I call Spirit. This one love, this great creator that loves us so much that lets us create with it. And as one of those creations, I know that each of us is a unique divine expression of it. For it lives its life through each of us and finds a new way to be in every moment. So with this great gratitude for the message today, for the wonderful gift of song, for the wonderful messages and readings, I'm just grateful. And most of all, I am grateful for this community. I'm grateful how we are there for each other in good times and in lesser times. And so, knowing that it is a good God day, a good God week, I invite you to go out and enjoy this week knowing that you are supported with everything that you need with ease and with grace. And so it is.
And so it is.
All right, enjoy our